Hi there, my name is Spencer Scruggs. I am the Director of Student Accessibility Services here at Trinity University in San Antonio.
I am Betty Curry, and I am Director for Academic Support.
Hi, I'm Laura Marquez Ramsey, and I'm the Student Accessibility Specialist.
I'm Amanda Carr. I'm the Accounting Testing Center Clerk.
The Student Accessibility Services team answers our most common questions. When do I need to disclose my disability?
Students should disclose their disability when they're ready to make their requests for accommodations. Students make their requests for accommodations by submitting an online application through our SAS link and including their documentation of their diagnoses. Our SAS link can be found on the SAS page on the Trinity University website. Students can apply for services anytime while they're at Trinity University. However, if you've relied on accommodations throughout high school, we recommend that you submit your application prior to your first semester, as this is key to enhancing academic success. Submitting your application and disclosing your diagnosis are the first steps to receiving accommodations here at Trinity.
What information remains confidential?
Here at Student Accessibility Services, we pride ourselves on keeping information confidential. One of the things that we want to ensure students know is that your information always remains confidential with our office. And that includes specific diagnosis and disability related information. The only cases where we will share that information are when it's educationally necessary or when you give us explicit permission to share with another entity outside of the university or someone else that you would like for us to share it with.
How do I get my accommodations in place?
The first step to setting up your accommodations at Trinity University is to submit your online application through SAS link. After submitting your application, the second step to receiving accommodations is to set up an intake appointment with a member of the Student Accessibility Services team. Students and SAS staff work collaboratively in this meeting to identify the best ways to support an individual student's needs. The third step to receiving accommodations is for students to use the SAS link to request that faculty notification letters be sent to their current faculty. Once faculty receive these letters, then accommodations are officially in place. Requesting these letters is the only step students will need to complete at the beginning of each new semester. After faculty notification letters are sent out, it's good practice for students to meet with their professors to discuss these letters. This ensures that mutual understandings can be made over the specifics of each individual accommodation. And it also establishes a good working relationship between the students and their professors.
If I need additional documentation, where can I get it?
If you need additional documentation, one of the great things is that we encourage you to speak with our office first to determine where you might be able to get that documentation. In often cases, you may have some existing documents, medical records, things of that nature that may suffice. If not, we do have a wonderful counseling service and health services on campus that can give you the appropriate referrals to an outside provider to get that additional documentation. Additionally, we offer a verification form that any doctor, a licensed medical provider, mental health provider can also fill out as well. We also encourage you to consult our community resources guide that gives the opportunity to seek out additional resources outside of Trinity.
What is the interactive process? How is my eligibility for accommodations decided?
Here at Student Accessibility Services, we engage in what we call the interactive process. What that means is that no two students with the same disability experience that disability in the same way. You have very unique needs that may look very different compared to someone else that has a similar diagnosis to you. What we really engage in with the interactive process is a specific set of questions that help us get to the bottom of how your disability impacts you and what needs we really need to cover when it comes to your accommodations. That tailored individual process is what makes it so much more effective when we do assign and approve you for an accommodation.
What are some of my responsibilities?
The transition to college brings with it a shift in responsibilities that requires students to advocate for their own needs in the academic environment. As such, students are now responsible for a major part of the accommodation process, including the responsibility to disclose their diagnosis, request accommodations, submit appropriate documentation, and follow through on any required procedures necessary to set up their accommodations. This means that students are responsible for ensuring their professors are aware of their need to use accommodations prior to each use. This includes letting your professors know when you plan to use your testing accommodations. You're also required to let professors know when you no longer need to use your accommodations.
What constitutes reduced distraction testing as an accommodation?
There are some students, while they're taking their exam, where the environment can play a factor into their performance. If there is constant noise or visual movements happening during their exam, that could possibly play a factor into their performance. A reduced distraction environment can help with this. It's a space outside the classroom which the student has permission to take their exam in that will provide limited auditory or visual distractions. Students and professors can work collaboratively on what's going to be the best space for the student to take their exam in that's going to help with providing a reduced distraction environment. This could possibly be in the professor's office, this could be in the conference room in the department, or it could be coming right here to the Accounting Testing Center. The Accounting Testing Center is a great resource for students with testing accommodations. It's a reduced distraction environment with limited auditory and visual distractions. We cannot promise it's going to be distraction-free. However, we do have some tools and supplies that will help with reducing those distractions.
What happens if I don't request my accommodations or decide I don't need accommodations in some of my classes?
After SAS approves initial eligibility for a student, it then becomes the student's responsibility to complete the process for setting up and activating their accommodations each semester. Sometimes students decide they don't need or want accommodations in any or all of their classes. That's okay. However, if a student does decide they want to use accommodations, they have up until the last week of class to register and activate their accommodations. Keep in mind, accommodations are not retroactive. That means accommodations begin only from the moment they are activated.
What happens if I ask for my accommodations and they aren't provided?
Student accessibility services takes every single time that a student does not receive their accommodations very seriously. One of the things that we really want to encourage the students to do is to connect with us the minute that they feel like they are not receiving their accommodations in the way that they need to receive them. What's really important about that process is that both you are able to share the concerns that you're experiencing with not receiving that accommodation. Part of our process is not only talking with you, but also trying to get information from your instructors. In many cases, there may be a misunderstanding. There may be additional concerns that may arise. We gather all of that information, then try to find a solution that works so that the faculty member can provide that accommodation and you can still keep moving forward in your classes and find success.
What's the difference between a service animal and an emotional support animal?
There's a difference between these two. So for a service animal, they are specifically trained to perform a certain task or duty for an individual with a disability. This individual may not be able to perform certain tasks or duties on their own due to their disability, which is why a service animal is specifically trained to make sure that those tasks or duties are performed. Emotional support animal, on the other hand, is an animal that provides kind of like a therapeutic support for the individual. This could be helping with relieving loneliness, provide companionship, or it can help with alleviating any type of mental health related symptoms such as depression or anxiety. The main difference between these two is a service animal is trained to perform the task or duty for an individual who is not able to do so, whereas an emotional support animal just provides kind of emotional support for the individual, and they do not require any specific training. Please keep in mind that these two types of animals are going to go through a different process for approval and also what they are allowed to do on campus. So always consult with an SAS representative to ask any questions you may have related to service animals and emotional support animals.
What's the difference between an academic coach and an SAS learning specialist?
Some big differences between high school and college are the level of skills and habits you're going to need to manage your schedule, your workload, and the depth of learning that your professors will expect. You can do this, and we're here to help you with it. I'm one of 2 professional staff members who provide individual academic coaching to any Trinity students who schedule appointments with us. We think of academic coaching as life coaching for students when you're forming new habits to help you be successful in college. In individual coaching appointments, we love to hear how things are going and to suggest tips and tools for managing things. In coaching, we share the strategies for studying that are needed to excel in college courses, and these strategies are rooted in current scholarship from cognitive psychology about how learning works. The most common things we help with are time and task management, procrastination, motivation, and perfectionism, and solid learning techniques that lead to critical thinking and deep connections to course content. Students come to us when they're doing well and want to do better, and they see us for support when they are navigating and recovering from rough patches. Some see us as a regular source for accountability, and we love to celebrate their successes. There is no limit to the number of coaching visits that Trinity students can have. Many students who are registered with SAS meet regularly with an academic coach, and some come as often as once a week. Beyond academic coaching, the SAS staff includes a learning specialist. Students may be referred to this additional support resource by the SAS staff member that they work with. Our learning specialist can help referred students on the topics included in academic coaching with the added dimension of deeper insights into tools and supports that are specific to their disabilities. Working with the learning specialist requires that the student make a commitment to a more sustained level of support. With both academic coaches and the learning specialist, it is the student's role and responsibility to seek support and to make and manage their appointments.
Will people think less of me if I use my accommodations?
Using accommodations is not uncommon, and professors have experience working with students registered with SAS. If anything, we want you to know you're not alone. Over 14% of students use accommodations at Trinity University. Once here, you'll find that our professors will work with you because they want to help you be successful. So visit the SAS and your faculty early and ask for the help you need. Don't be afraid, because everyone here at Trinity is committed to helping you succeed.
Thank you for watching. If you have any questions for our SAS team, please call us at 210-999-8528 or email us at sas@trinity.edu.